Okay, so this afternoon I'm talking to Wayne Foster, who's the Managing Director of New Way Technology based in Newcastle. So Wayne, could you tell us a bit about New Way, what you do and what the company does?
Yeah, I work for several different customers, some in the UK, some in the US, some in Ireland, so all over the world really. There's really no boundaries when you're working in the computing industry nowadays. And the bulk of my work now is involved with what we call e-commerce sites. So any site that is involved in taking payment for goods or services, and then making sure that those goods are delivered, and everything around that type of area really.
Right, okay, so does that go from kind of website design through to implementation, project management, the whole?
That's right, yeah. Most of my clients have got already some form of digital department within their organisation,
Right.
And they kind of bring me in to give them a hand with some of the technical bits and pieces that they may be not familiar with, or they want to change from one solution to another one, and I can help out with that type of thing. So yeah, I used to work in a kind of role whereby it was very, very low level code, but now you find that there's lots of kind of building block solutions out there, and you pick things off the shelf and configure them, and then only for the last kind of 10 or 15% of what's needed do you have to kind of drop down to a coding type of application. But yeah, that's my kind of background was development and coding and that type of thing.
In coding, right, okay. And I mean, just out of interest, what sorts of customers do you work with? I mean, I'm not asking you to name names, but
yeah, I can name some names. I can drop a few.
Drop a few names.
Yeah, Rocket Dog Shoes, they're based out in California. Picked up those a few years back. Denby Pottery over at Derby, I look after their sites in the UK and the US. Waterford Crystal in Ireland, look after their visitor centre. Wedgwood Ceramics over at Barleston, I look after their visitor centre as well. I've done bits of work for Emma Bridgewater, Vince.com, which is a fashion label in New York.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and all the way down through to kind of little local barbershops and things. It really is quite a wide array of different clients that you can end up working with when you're under the steam of your own company, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them are quite big names as well, so so they're quite interesting organisations. Okay, and how long have you been doing this work? Is it something you've always done, or?
Yeah, I kind of started playing with computers when I was, end of high school, really, kind of 13, 14, 15, that type of age, and continued to play with computers ever since. Got a very kind of strong educational background from a mathematical and analytical point of view. Went through university, and it's kind of carried on from there, really.
Right. So in terms of, like, say, the kids at CCSC, what would you recommend in terms of a study path, work experience, apprenticeships, education training generally?
Yeah, I think that the arena of digital is so vast nowadays that I think that whatever your kind of skill set or interest or how your brain works, I think there's kind of an area within this field that will probably be right up your street, because I can, quite readily put my hand up and say I'm not creative at all. I don't put colours onto the screen and things like that. I work with people that brief into me those types of creative routes that they want to see, and then I then implement them. So from the technical analytical side of things, that works really well with other people. So whatever your kind of nuance is, there's probably space within digital to kind of satisfy it.
Right. So you've got both the kind of the creative, like you say about colour, so creation, design, and then you've also got the technical analytical code.
I mean, there's loads of kind of overlapping and meshing between them, but there's people that have got kind of graphic design degrees and things.
So it's kind of bringing those together. So what would your typical day look like?
First thing, I'll respond to lots of emails for clients. I've got kind of 5 or 6 clients normally on the spin at the same time, getting back to people with any concerns that they've got, telling people of the approach that we're going to take with solving issues, there's new things coming down the track all the time. So, you know, you keep your clients abreast of what's going on in the wider arena of a lot of things that are going on now to do with privacy and cookies and all this type of thing. There's lots of change in that, and the ways that we kind of measure engagement across different websites and things. So yeah, going on from there, that I feed all that into a big project management system, and some agencies have their own people that are dedicated just to this type of role, whereby you need to organize people's time and so I utilize my own software that helps me to achieve that, and then I'll get stuck into doing a little project for somebody, log that time down on a timesheet, and then normally the amount of hours that are logged against each task is kind of tallied up toward the end of the month, and see if there's any extra hours that need billing out, or if it's all taken care of within the agreements that are in place.
Right. Okay. And I mean, what would you say is the best part of your
job? Finding really horrible problems, which I don't like, but I just love to solve them. And it's a real double-edged sword, because nobody likes to become something they can't do. But you just keep digging and digging and getting into more and more detail and depth until you finally found the answer. And I've never come across anything that's failed, you know, that I've failed to sort out. Yeah.
Always good to know. So, I mean, the flip side of that is, well, what's the most challenging part of the job, or the bit you enjoy the least?
Managing customers' expectations, that is really tricky, because especially around pricing of work and of how long things take and expected timelines to delivery and things, it's sometimes you know, some people just aren't aware of how all this stuff comes to be, and it's like not like waving a magic wand. It does take a lot of hours to kind of implement some of this stuff. But yeah, I do like to get my teeth into new bits of technology, kind of elegant solutions that really work well together, that aren't kind of messy. It's an opportunity to put something in place that is kind of digitally spot on, because quite often in the real world, when you're dealing with kind of materials and things, if you get something wrong, that's it. It's kind of permanent and stays there. But with digital, you can continue to tweak and evolve until you're really happy with what you've delivered.
Sure. And if you were to give advice to the pupils at CCSC about the route, I mean, is it a university route to get into this area of work, or are there different pathways?
I would absolutely advocate going to university to get a degree or a higher level qualification, and then go and work for some kind of consultancy group, or, you know, somewhere where you're going to get some real best of breed approaches and work with mentors to get you a solid understanding of what's required and expected in the top end of the industry. Because there are, as you can imagine, there is a vast swathe of people out there that can literally do this stuff from the bedroom, as has been proven now with lockdown. And unless you've got a real body of evidence behind you that distinguishes you as a step above everybody else that can easily do this, then, you know, that's the real key for me. And you learn you do come across some great stuff within the university courses that are out there that you don't get exposed to sometimes in the real world, but that's not to say they aren't absolutely fundamental to the way in which you should approach things.
Right, okay, fantastic. Wayne, that's brilliant. Well, thanks ever so much for your time. Much appreciated. I'm sure the kids will really benefit from it. So all the best. You take care.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.